Right, so in today's video, we have one of the wildest pieces of drama I think we've covered on this channel in quite some time, and it's actually resulted in a lawsuit that I didn't even know was possible. I didn't know this could be a lawsuit. And we actually have the lawsuit to look through, by the way, later on in this video, but first of all, I really need to give a bit of a backstory here. So there's a TikToker called Brenay, who has 2.8 million followers. I believe she is known for, having, really... I was going to say crazy nails, I don't know if that's offensive. I mean, here's an example on one of her videos where she shows off her nails. I don't really know what's going on, but yet again, I don't really know anything about nails. So, yeah, I'm sorry if crazy is offensive. I've just never seen anything like that before. But fortunately for me, this drama has nothing to do with nails. I've just given a bit of a backstory. If it did have to do with nails, I really wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But this is actually completely different, and there's some other people we need to be aware of here, right? So Brenay had made quite a few videos with her now ex-husband, Devon.
Come with us to H Mart. Yay!
Yeah, well, I mean, apart from the fact that that clip went on for way too long, it seems, this is Devon, right? This is her ex-husband, was her husband when she was making these videos. And she also made videos with two people called Akira and Tim. Akira being one of her friends that I believe she became friends with because Devon's first cousin, Tim, was dating Akira. I feel like I made that sound way more confusing than it actually is. Akira and Tim were married, and Brenay and Devon were married. Devon and Tim being first cousins. I think that's a better way of describing it. So this is one of the videos on Brenay's page where she's saying, "Come cook dinner with Tim and I." This being Tim, this being Akira in the background, I believe. People looking back at this video, probably looking at it with a different point of view, based on what actually goes on to happen. It will describe it in just a second. But as you can see, this is the type of content that she was doing. Now, a couple of months ago at this point, Brenay actually posted a video on TikTok saying that her and Devon had got divorced.
For all who don't know, me and Devon are divorced. I know, probably y'all oh, I'm not shocked. It doesn't pay the whole nine. I get it.
So when she's saying that people wouldn't be shocked, I think she's actually telling the truth here, because when we look at the comments in just a second, people didn't seem to be shocked. And I think it's because Devon clearly didn't really want to be on camera in most of these videos. He seemed pretty shy on camera, or at least just maybe didn't want to be on camera, which is completely normal if that's not something you want to do. So I think people took that as Devon is uninterested in Brenay. I don't know if that is true or anything like that, but I think that is the gist we got here. I mean, on the comments on this video, we can see people are saying, "I always felt he didn't match your beautiful energy. I seen this coming, he never looked interested." And actually, to be fair, when I'm looking through this, there is some comments from people saying that they are shocked that this happened. So I guess there's some mixed opinions. Well, it's at this point that we have to take a look at the lawsuit, because Akira is actually suing Brenay. And as we can see here, it is a complaint for criminal conversation, alienation of affection, and attorney fees. Because as it turns out, allegedly, Brenay is a bit of a homewrecker and is now dating Tim, and Akira is now suing Brenay because of this. I didn't know you could sue someone for this. I believe it's only in maybe certain states. I believe this is in North Carolina. But yeah, let's actually take a look at this lawsuit, because like I said before, this is a bit wild. So the lawsuit starts off like any other lawsuit, where they give it a background on who's actually involved here. It says stuff like the defendant has over 2 million followers on TikTok and 300,000 followers on Instagram, and then goes on to say, "To the Marshall Union, plaintiff and her husband were lawfully married on October 20th in 2018 in Wake County, North Carolina, and at all relevant times referred to herein remained husband and wife. There were 2 children born of the marriage between plaintiff and her husband." It goes on to name the children. I'm going to blur the names because they don't really need to be on a MARKIE video today. And then here we move on to the first cause of action, which is criminal conversation. Plaintiff and defendant developed a close friendship due to plaintiff's husband being close with defendant's husband. Defendant was married to the first cousin of plaintiff's husband. Plaintiff considered defendant to be family, as they both would confide in each other about one another's marriages. Defendant utilized the personal information gained from the friendship to seduce plaintiff's husband. Plaintiff confided in defendant about personal matters concerning her marriage, including a pregnancy during which her husband cheated on her. So I guess, right, clearly Brenay seemed to know that her husband had done this before, which I guess the point is here is that Brenay took advantage of that, knowing that this could be a possibility. The interference of defendant involved wrongful and malicious acts that caused plaintiff and her husband's genuine love and affection to be destroyed. Shortly after defendant met plaintiff's husband, she engaged in behavior designed to seduce him and interfere with plaintiff's marriage, including but not limited to wearing very short skirts, bending over in front of plaintiff's husband while wearing short skirts, twirling her hair in a flirtatious manner, flicking her tongue to expose her tongue rings in a flirtatious manner, and verbally flirting with plaintiff's husband. Like I said before, right, I didn't know that this stuff could even be involved in a lawsuit. This was news to me. But actually, one thing that's interesting about this, I saw this post on, well, it's on Facebook, I saw it on TikTok, where Akira was talking about her mother, and it seems like her mother is like a top attorney. Like, as we can see by this post here, it says, "My mother was sworn on April 15th, 2024, alongside other selected elite black women to argue cases in the highest court, which we know as the Supreme Court." So yeah, if I had to guess, and obviously I'm just assuming here, I'm guessing she probably did speak to her mum about this and seeing like what action she can actually take, because her mum clearly knows what she's talking about. And I did also see a lot of people saying like, why isn't Akira suing her husband rather than Brenay, like Brenay being like, what they said, like the mistress in the situation, is that what they say? And I mean, yet again, obviously not a professional when it comes to this type of stuff, but I assume that Akira's gonna get a lot out of the divorce anyways, if it's involved like cheating and whatnot. Again, not a professional, but that's what I'm assuming. And I mean, as she should. And obviously she's now going down this route of suing Brenay, which again, I didn't know was a possibility, but clearly it seems to be. Defendant continued to pursue a friendship with plaintiff while seducing plaintiff's husband. Defendant would do cooking videos in the Marshall home of plaintiff, involving her own husband and plaintiff and her husband, like that's one of the videos we showed earlier. The defendant started to make social media posts with the plaintiff's husband, many of which were without the plaintiff's knowledge or consent. The plaintiff then noticed more frequently that the videos began to only involve the defendant and plaintiff's husband. Plaintiff is under the belief and has physical evidence defendant engaged in acts of sexual intercourse with plaintiff's husband during plaintiff's marriage, including in the Marshall's home. Defendant would insist that plaintiff's husband go with her on sales calls by telling him that she needed her sales manager to play with her. I mean, that is fucking mental. Sorry, you're gonna have to listen to me reading stuff like this, by the way. Defendant first had sex with plaintiff's husband in December 2023 in the Marshall home. Like, yeah, clearly this is a fucking horrible, horrible situation that is now involved in a lawsuit, and I'm interested to see how this plays out, because again, didn't know this was a thing. Clearly it is, in North Carolina especially. So I would be interested to see what Brenay's response to all of this is. Because obviously she is going to have to respond. Legally, she's going to have to respond. And yeah, I don't even know what you really say to this. Now at this point, they're the only pages I'm allowed to see because it's like a preview and you have to be from America to see like the US lawsuit, so I can't actually look at it officially, but a bunch of TikTokers have spoke about it and showed screenshots and whatnot, so I can use that. This one specifically is from Becca Day, so full credit to her. Also, you might recognize Becca Day from our videos talking about Jeanette Braun. Becca Day being one of the people who is being sued in that lawsuit, which is mental. Hopefully that's all going okay. We haven't done an update on that in a while, so if you do want to see that, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to do that. But in Becca Day's video, she goes on to describe the lawsuit, and she says that Akira is also alleging that Brenay would show images of Akira's children without her consent online. Now, this is one of the screenshots that Becca shows, where obviously there's pictures of Akira's children here, and she is like, quoted it, I don't really know how it works on Facebook, but just saying, "Happy birthday to my nephew, I love you so much." Which, by the way, just now sounds awful, doesn't it, right? Because Brenay's now dating Tim, and she's calling Tim's kids her nephew. Fucking weird situation. But I mean, in this post that Becca did show, she's obviously like quoting one of Akira's posts, so I don't know if that counts, but Becca does say that Brenay did post like loads of pictures of Akira's children.
But she does detail that since Tim made the decision to not repair their marriage, he has since abandoned Akira and their children emotionally, physically, and financially.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say this isn't exactly a good look for Brenay and Tim in this situation, is it? If there's one thing that I will absolutely never understand in this world is just abandoning your children that you've brought into the world. It's horrible. It's disgusting.
And at the time that they separated, March 14th, Tim moved in with Brenay, who has just announced to her social media following that she is getting a divorce.
What a weird situation. If it already wasn't weird enough, right, because she's now dating, like, one of her friend's husbands, they're also first cousins. Like, what is going on here? How do you end up in this position?
Also keeping in mind that Akira's husband, Tim, and Brenay's husband are cousins.
Exactly.
So if Brenay is having an affair with Akira's husband, Tim, soon-to-be ex-husband, Tim, Miss Girl's just keeping it in the family.
Yeah, I mean, that is beyond weird. Of course, without saying, that is so strange.
The first cause of action that is being brought against Brenay is for criminal conversation, and Akira is seeking $150,000 for that first count. The second count against Brenay is alienation of affection, which Akira is seeking $1 million for this.
Bloody hell. Right, so if this all goes the way that Akira's obviously hoping, Brenay would be out over $1 million, which is crazy. This is such a big situation, clearly. This could be absolutely devastating financially for Brenay, but I mean, she's put herself in this situation. Like, what are you doing?
Brenay has taken to her social media to defend herself and basically say that what's being alleged is untrue. But a lot of Brenay's followers seem to feel as though Brenay has been dishonest with them and she's being a hypocrite because she will happily turn her nose up at anyone who lives a lifestyle that does not align with her rigid Christian beliefs, all while behind the scenes allegedly having an affair with a man who she knows is married. Now, I don't know what to think about this. This lawsuit is one of the craziest things I have ever...
Okay, so this is a picture of Brenay and Tim, I believe. Yeah, I mean, so she's obviously denying all of this, apparently. She's going to have to prove that in a court of law. I mean, I wonder what she's going to say. Because if she's just saying that this just didn't happen, that's an even bigger twist of the story. I don't see why Akira would just make that up and then sue someone for it. She even says that she has, like, physical evidence. I'm assuming this is like text messages. I would assume, if I had to guess, Brenay's defense is going to be that there wasn't a crossover and Tim split with Akira and then Brenay and Tim started dating. If I had to guess, that's probably the route she's going to go down. It might even be true. Who bloody knows? Oh, and also Becca goes on to show a screenshot of Brenay's Instagram story where she has put a caption on here that says, "This man been mine since I met him." I mean, what the fuck? What a weird situation. Oh, and I've also just came across another video showing more of the lawsuit. It might not be the best quality, but hopefully it's still readable, right? Let's have a look through. Plaintiff became aware of defendant's sexual affair with her husband in January 2024 from a video of the two of them in the Marshall home. Okay, right. Don't know what's going on there. But what this does tell me, if everything that we've read is true, there was definitely a crossover because this is before they are divorced. Defendant was seen twerking and shaking her bottom on plaintiff's husband in the bathroom located in the Marshall home. Okay, right, so I'm assuming that's the video she's on about. And then it even goes further to say that plaintiff's husband experienced a death in the family and stayed home from work. Defendant, without consent from plaintiff, stayed in the Marshall home whilst plaintiff was at work. I mean, if this situation couldn't get any worse, like, bloody hell. Okay, then goes on to say that apparently there's a video of Brenay saying multiple things that I'm not going to read out loud because no one wants to hear that. But if you want to read them, they're on screen right now. And line E is a big reason why I shall not be reading that. It then goes on to say that apparently there's videos of Brenay like bragging about it all. As we can see here, it says defendant can be seen in the videos laughing and showing no remorse for her actions. And then we also go on to see the part where they mention posting the pictures of Akira's children without her permission. It says defendant has posted plaintiff's minor children without her consent all over social media to her high volume of followers. Defendant's actions were so severe that plaintiff had to send a cease and desist letter to stop plaintiff's children and plaintiff from receiving death threats. I mean, fuck, this sounds like an absolutely awful situation that I wouldn't wish on anybody. Yeah, I mean, the fact that this has apparently been going on behind the scenes, I would love to know what Brenay's followers think of all of this, like the ones who like do actually really like her content. You know, just thought that she was just going through a divorce and there was nothing more to the story. Yeah, I mean, a crazy situation, clearly. I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below on everything that I spoke about in today's video. I'm gonna leave it there. So if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, goodbye.